We will now begin your mantra. Listen and repeat. I am fine. Everything is fine. Don't feel that way. Stop being sad. I am fine. Am I fine? Welcome to the minds of many in a society that pushes expectations to follow the norm.
Mental health, a topic that has been something of an enigma in society for a long time. That topic that sometimes never makes it to the table, a topic that has been delved into more through the years, but not enough, and a topic that affects us all.
On episode 2 of this podcast, we will be talking about the topic that needs to be brought into the light way more, mental health and how it affects our youth. My name is Loukya Vaka.
And my name is Quinney. Welcome to episode 2 of Deep Dive Discussions.
Well, as we all know, mental health has become a hot topic in society as the years have gone on. However, there's also always been this stigma around mental health that can be a hindrance to the people affected.
Progress has already been made to help mental health be talked about more in our everyday lives, but there is still more to be done.
Right, and in fact, if you look at our own state, the data that Mental Health America has collected in 2022 sheds light on how adolescents' mental health is dealt with per state.
Missouri was ranked 27th in state prevalence of youth-wide major depressive episodes, also known as MDEs, 22nd in state prevalence of youth with severe MDEs, 26th in state prevalence of untreated youth with depression, and 50th in state prevalence of youth with severe depression who received some form of outpatient treatment.
And I find these stats to be really surprising because with 50th, which in this table is not the best number, to be honest.
It's the second to last.
Right,
like,
it's just,
we're
it's so
average
low.
in everything, and then you get second to
yeah,
last. And it's just kind of like, what are we doing?
It talks about some form of outpatient treatment, and that makes me a little concerned because it's one thing to have a mental disorder and just have it and let it be out there. It's a totally different thing to not have it be taken care of. And I think that's just something that's really concerning and something that needs to be brought into light and maybe changed in some way going on.
Yes, we need to figure out something.
As a student myself, I can definitely speak to how many factors can affect your mental state. One key point being stress for myself. And figuring out how to get out of that slump can be very difficult. And I want to take this moment to kind of converse further about just the experiences of going through your life, especially as someone young, and just mental health in general. For me, it wasn't that it wasn't talked about. It definitely is in school, and we continue to do so. It was more I would see mental health is important. Please go check your mental health. These are your hotlines, your resources, and I just wouldn't know what to do with it.
I feel like when it was mentioned, like every time somebody comes in, they always talk about the extreme. They never talk about like how you can just always feel slightly anxious and never more than that.
It's more like you never really know who to talk about. Like there's a trusted adult thing, but like how do I bring that up?
Exactly. That's the thing. I get so anxious
just thinking about
going
it.
To talk to a teacher.
And it's like not that you don't want to communicate, it's like how do I? And
how do I just breach this topic to somebody?
Yeah, it's so hard to kind of delve into it because mental health has become this sort of thing. Not only what I've seen in my life, but I feel like just in general, mental health is sort of this thing where how do we go there? How do and of course they're like go to a therapist, go here, go there.
But
it's not
how
really,
do you ask for a therapist?
Exactly. Society's put this like kind of circle around it. They're like your mental health is so appreciated. We love talking about it. It's like here's
where you need to get. Here's the end, but we're not going to tell you
how to get there.
The route.
Right.
Like it's typing in your end destination in Google Maps, and then Google Maps just telling you, that's where you need to go, and then not giving you directions.
But I feel like every single small life circumstance, from yours to mine to the person next door, needs to be heard. And that's why I just find this to be so important. And so the question that pertains to us here at Liberty is this: what resources are available to the school body in regards to mental health?
We, of course, have counselors who are available for us to speak to and who give us access to many resources in regards to staying mentally well. And this is definitely a big help for people in need of a professional to speak with. However, along with this, I feel like what's really important for youth dealing with mental health is other people around us themselves. Generally, having trusted people around you can make sharing your problem much easier, and therefore giving you a better chance to get the help you need if and when you may need it.
And I think that this is a great way to bring up another important factor, how to take care of your own mental health.
Well, for starters, it's not impossible to have a healthier mental state. In fact, just taking care of yourself is a great thing to do.
And to talk about some other ways that we can all have a better mindset, we've brought in a guest. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Rathi. I'm a freshman at Liberty.
So, as we've been talking about, mental health is very important. Why do you think we should be more educated about mental health in schools and more generally in life?
I think mental health is something that affects everyone, whether or not they have a lot of things going on in their life in general. It's good to know what's going on in your head, and also it's important to know the difference between a joke and being serious. And I think mental health is a big deal, and it also goes hand in hand with communication as well and being clear about your emotions, which I can tell you I'm not very good at.
Right, and as the National Institute of Mental Health has suggested, a great way to improve mental health is by doing a relaxing activity. For me, that's listening to my favorite music and reading a good book. How do you de-stress?
Okay, so we're basically the same person. 'Cause I blast music in my headphones and just read the same book that I have memorized over and over again. So, it's kind of a nice
As one should.
comfort
As one should.
bubble.
So, you guys like brain stimulation?
Kind of drowning out reality.
Yeah,
I guess that's
exactly.
the way to look at it.
I myself have found that doing something with my hands, like art or baking, is a great way to rest my mind, especially if I'm really
Right.
stressed or something. I like being in the kitchen and just making whatever I want. Now, I have one last question for you. What is your hope for the youth of today in regards to mental health?
I hope that they grow up in an environment where they talk about it more, because I feel like that's kind of a no-touching topic at the moment, even though it's getting better over time. I feel like people have a tendency to still feel uncomfortable while talking about it, which talking about emotions and talking about mental health are two different things, though they are connected in some ways. There's a difference between talking about mental health and making sure someone's okay and talking about your emotions every single second. So I feel like they grow up in an environment where they feel like they can talk about it, especially males. I feel like toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
Toxic masculinity is, even though it's getting better, I feel like it's still very big. And I hope they grow up in an environment where they realize that you aren't considered weak to talk about not being okay.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because that is such a big importance in just society in general. We need to move forward, and we need to be equal in every single aspect, and that does include mental health as well. So thank you for moving that up.
It definitely does.
And that is all we have for our special guest today. Thank you so much once again, Rathi Thiagarajan, a freshman here at Liberty, for giving us your insight on mental health for the youth of today. In the end, our hope is that we all can have a mind that is much healthier and happier in the years to come. And though this is definitely a challenge, so much has been and will continue to be done so that each person is heard and helped.
Because if we're all being honest, life itself is hard to deal with at times. So why should we have to deal with it alone?
We shouldn't. And we want to end this with a reminder for you all. You are not alone, and there are resources that will help you.
The 24-hour Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is for if you are thinking about suicide, are experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, or are concerned for a friend or loved one. This lifeline can be accessed when you call or text 988, and there are still many resources out there for you to take advantage of.
And mental health is something we all need to be more aware of, and if our future is going to be bright, we're all going to have a good mindset to make change happen. Life has its own set of unique challenges, as we've all seen, but our mind should not be our enemy in this journey. So let's all work to make mental health a conversation that is brought to the table more frequently.
And not just brought to the table more frequently, it is.
It is.
But finding ways to help people take that step.
Right, finding
we're
that
talking
way.
about, they're giving us the end location and not the route. We need to
We
find
need
a
to
way
find that
to
route
give
together.
them the route. Once again, this was the second episode of Deep Dive Discussions, where my name is Quinney.
And my name is Loukya Vaka. And from us to you, we hope you stay happy and healthy. Thank you for listening.